Yo. How we doing today? This is Going Live with Felix Castro, your host. I am a former best ball Millie winner. I am getting into the streets of betting. I'm a I'm a multi 50K winner in DFS, in basketball and in NFL. Waiting for that 50K hit in golf one day. One day. But yeah, I've won three 50K tournaments. And I think I naturally just think differently than other people. I always think, oh man, everybody's going to think this play, but not everybody always thinks about these plays. I'm a little bit, I think the other side, So, though I might think that I am basic and chalk, sometimes I'm not. This week, I for the first time since I've been a tout or whatnot, or whatever you want to call it. Najee Harris is the most projected ownership of a player, and I'm like, everybody's on the Najee train this week, which they're all going to be disappointed when he only gets 12 points because he ran 60 yards and got one touchdown and added nothing to the receiving game. So I just want to put it out there to all the Najee people. Just enjoy it. Like we're gonna get a touchdown this week. We're gonna have 60 yards to 69 probably, because he's averaged a 70, 69, 70 last week, probably 69 this week. So let's not get over our heels, people. This is gonna be a pretty basic score here. It's not gonna be a big one that he's being projected for. It's not a bad, you're getting a nice floor with Najee, but and if you're going to play the Millie Maker, I don't suggest to play Najee. I'm going to do, but I preach not to do this, right? Like Najee is my guy, but he is not going to be most likely in the optimal because he needs such a ceiling that he doesn't rarely hit. And everybody being on him, I'm going to do it too, but like I don't think you all should do it. Let's see here. So my top 5 plays, we're gonna do one play at each position. I figured that might be the best play or best way to do it. So let me get here 1 second. Present, share screen. We're gonna start with the quarterback and go down. The top play that I think at quarterback this week is Andy Dalton. He tore it up last week, right? The Red Rifle came in nice and hot, and I kind of think he keeps it going. I don't see how the Bengals stop him. Revenge game narrative. He's only 5,300, so it's not like a lot to hit his projection. If you want him to be like optimal, you're looking for like 20 to 25 points with him, and that's not that bad. You usually want to go 4x plus 5, so you're looking at 20 to 28 points, somewhere in that range for where you want him to score. Obviously, we want him to hit 30 or something along those lines. But the Bengals proved that they couldn't stop Jaden Daniels. Now I'm not saying Andy Dalton's Jaden Daniels, but on a passing level, he might be. So I think Andy Dalton, for his price, getting able to sneak in some other good plays with it. Like if you want to bring it back with Jamar Chase, that makes sense. I have some other good value plays in here that you want to pair it up with. A lot of people are good. The most owned wide receiver this week is Deontay Johnson, which is kind of funny that he only has a 3% ownership, but Deontay Johnson has a 25% ownership. I do think Deontay gets his, but I don't think he is the only person that can get some that can provide value for your team. If you want to avoid the chalk and leverage it, we'll get there later. All right, at the running back position. Now this one, it's a little wishy-washy, but we got Roschon Johnson. Roschon Johnson has been told, or we've been told by the coaches, this is going to be a big test taker for me, that he's going to get more work this week. And if Roschon Johnson does get more work this week, he can potentially get he can hit his number because he's only projected right now for 0.98% ownership. And he's currently projecting for 4.22 projection points, but I don't know what that is equating. I should say I. I use Stochastic Sims, so this is what they have currently sim for. But if he does get some more work, if he gets more work and just falls into the end zone, it's not like they're going against this world beater of a team. He could easily outdo his projection fairly easily if he does get the work that was promised to him by any means, but like that is kind of projected in my book and in my eyes. So he could easily hit 20 points and be 5,600 next week. Obviously, I like Najee again, very low owned, but low. The lone back in the backfield for the most part, Cordell Patterson obviously is there, but he is too highly owned to be played this week. I think in the Millie Maker, I think you could still use him in cash games and in single entry. I think he's a solid play. But if you're trying to win a tournament, a play like Roschon Johnson, who's 1% owned currently and projects in my vibe base model, it could be a really good play. All right. Next, we have Michael Wilson at the wide receiver position. 4,200 on DraftKings, projects for 10.44 at 9%. So he is a great leverage play off of MHJ, a lot cheaper, obviously. And if you want to play that game where, let's be honest, Washington wasn't great either. They're down Trey McBride. So you're looking for another outlet for Kyler. I think Michael Wilson's going to be. It's not going to be Greg Dortch. It could be Greg Dortch, but I think more likely it is going to be Michael Wilson with, a decent production already. And I think when Trey McBride went down, Michael Wilson kind of stepped in. So, and I think he's definitely one of the top reads for Kyler. I think he's going to be the consistent down guy and might sneak into the end zone because they can't stop anybody over in Washington. I do think, and this is just a side notion set bet or talking point. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to do as well this week as he did last week. I think the Cardinals defense has actually been a little bit more tough, a little bit more scrappy than that they're giving credit for. I think this is going to be a lot lower scoring of a game than is currently projected. I would probably hit the under on the total. And I think I have a bet. I didn't place the bets, but I had the bets in my queue on the NFL betting odds here, and we'll look at them in a minute. And okay, so this is the leverage play that I was talking about over Deontay Johnson at the tight end position. We have Tommy Tremble. He is, trust me, I don't like Tommy Tremble. I am a Jatavian Sanders guy, best ball wise, but we can't bring our best ball thoughts in and just say they're absolute into the DFS world. Tommy Tremble is the current starting tight end right now as we speak. But like, he's a great leverage play to like, if you are like, because most most Andy Dalton lineups are going to have Deontay Johnson. Now, a way to get different and still have options to that game. So you say you get Red Rifle, and you get Tommy Tremble, and you can bring him back with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You can bring a double back. You know what I'm saying? Or you could go Jonathan Mingo and Tommy Tremble. You can get two levers on that same team and then play Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, something along those lines. Get crazy with it, right? There's so many ways you can play this week. It's a lot of value in my eyes, but last but not least, this is weird. This is the first time I'm ever doing like little photos of people. I don't know. Tell me how you guys like it. We are doing. No, thank you. The Jets defense. I must be the biggest Bo Nix hater in the world, but I just don't think he's he is NFL ready. I think he's going to get overwhelmed. Their cornerbacks are top notch. Jordan Whitehead. Jordan. I think it's Jordan Whitehead. I could be completely wrong. Sorry, Mr. Whitehead is top notch safety. Reed on the other side of Gardner is a great talent. They got CJ Mosley over the middle, so they're not going to give these cheap tech downs to Greg Dulcich or Javonte, I think they're going to slow it down. I think he's going to get sacked, and I think he's going to be able to pressure a whole bunch, and I think it's going to lead to interceptions. So it is high. They are one of the most expensive defense at 3,700. They're only projected for 7% ownership, so it's not like they're highly owned. And they're projected for like one of the most points in the entire defensive section. So I'm not far off base where thinking that they're going to do well. And you're not getting the full everybody thinks is a smash spot, which I think that it is at 10% at 7% ownership. That's a kind of a leverage play if you want to pay up for a little bit for defense. And we already gave you some places where you can also spend down and you can still get high leverage plays. I think the Jets defense could be at least top 2 defenses this week. At least top 2. I think they're the best, but I could be wrong by one random defense going off. But I think the Jets are in line for a big game. I think Bo Nix is hogwash, but I could be completely wrong because other people seem to like him. All righty. Now we're on to the bets. Oh, I got logged out. Why did I get logged out? It's so silly. DraftKings, you got to keep me logged in longer than, was it 10 minutes? I got to type in the silly code. DraftKings, you're so silly. What? La-di-da. Verify. Checking your location. I'll be doing this to me again. All right. Well, while that loads, bring myself up. Let's back up. Share this tab instead. All right. We're going back. Was this since we didn't do a show last week? This is technically week 3. We have a Najee Harris touchdown. It just and if you're watching live right now, the odds just went from plus 100 to plus 105. So we're gonna go ahead and let's see we get this at 16 for $100. We're trying to make $100 here with a 3 parlay. So $16. The 17 was what it had to take. So $1 less to make it $100. We have Najee Harris anytime TD score. I'm personally going to be betting every touchdown version of this. I'm going to bet first TD. I'm going to bet 2 TDs and play the ladder on Najee. I'm going to build his 25 rushing yards with a TD, 40 yards with a touchdown and TD. I'm going to build that kind of stuff for myself. But for this show, I'm going to say Najee Harris anytime touchdown score plus money at 105. I think it's almost a shoehorn bet that they're going to try to shove him in since he's technically didn't have to. He could have scored last week, but did it before the better of the team. I think they try to get him in this week, and they've been talking about starting fast, and I think Najee Harris is going to be the guy this week. And as we were talking about earlier, the Jets are going to put a lot of pressure on Bo Nix. This is already minus 155, so it's not like, there's more of a chance, apparently, to Las Vegas or DraftKings that Bo Nix is going to get an interception than Najee getting a touchdown, which is kind of wild to me. That guy has a lot less chance of scoring a touchdown than him throwing an interception. Well, yeah, I also bet there's some bias in this. I bet Bo Nix to lead the league in interceptions this year, so I think he gets 2 interceptions on today, but I don't think that's a prop, or at least I didn't see it to be. At minus 155, that's pretty good. I think they'll at least get 1. They're going to be behind in this game. I think they got not lucky, but they started off really hot. Then that put the Bucs on their back heel, which I don't think they play well when they're on their back heel. All righty. And then we have Jaden Daniels here, who went to 21 of 23 last week. Hold on. I have the stat right here. I had it pulled up. 21 of 23 for 250 yards. 91% completion. He went 23 of 29 against the Giants, which is also amazing. In 17 for 24 with a 70% completion rate, which is absolutely, this dude is completing so well, right? I am a Jaden Daniels believer. I think he's amazing. I think he's a great play, but he isn't really. With all this said, I think those defenses he has played, let's see here, who was it? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who kind of got lit up a little bit by Bo Nix. So that's not great. The Giants, not the elite defense. And then obviously the Bengals were not an elite defense. So he may have gotten 3 easy defenses to go against right off the rip. And I think that the Cardinals are a little bit more scrappy on the defensive side that they've faced so far. Again, I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. They might rely on Brian Robinson Jr., but maybe they throw it a whole bunch. But I do have the passing yards under on this game at 213. Again, he threw for that, was it for 90% completion rate? For a 90% completion rate of 21 to 23 for 254 yards. Now, he might get 200 and what was the bet for? 213 yards like overall. And I think he eats that easily with his rushing ability. But if you look at his passing game, I do think we want to bet the under here because he's not going to complete 21 of 23, most likely. I think he's off to a hot start. I think he's doing to do good. I think that he might even win this game. He might throw for 195 yards or something along those lines. I think he might even get a couple scores on the ground. I don't think he's a bad play. I just think his pass yards is just a smidge high for what he's going against this week with the Cardinals defense. And I think the under is it's not a lock bet by any means, but I think it's a better bet than everybody betting the over on this game to be the shootout. And so that concludes the most of the show. We're going to hit a $16 for $100. I think that's a nice little profit, to bring $100 into last week. We didn't win whatever bet we had. Whatever bet we had last week. We've had somebody else. I took somebody else today in MMA. So we're still learning. This is my first year in betting and whatnot. And we've lost. Obviously, we must have lost it because I put Najee Harris touchdown is going to happen for this stream. And we're gonna go. If we have to go 0-18, I guess we're going 0-18. But we're eventually gonna get this Najee Harris for touchdown score. Eventually we'll hit it. Eventually. All righty. We'll keep a track of this one. Let me get this submitted real quick. Boop. All righty. Keep that picks in the slip. We're gonna play with that one a little bit. All righty. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for watching later before the game start. Please leave any feedback for what you guys want to see, what you guys don't want to see. I've given you guys top plays. Maybe next week we add the single game lineup again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what you guys like. All right. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun.